Why do most people wait to feel motivated before they take action? Think about it for a second. How many times have you told yourself you'll start when you feel ready, when you feel energized, or when the timing feels right? Now here's the question. How often does that feeling actually show up on command? Because if motivation were reliable, wouldn't progress be consistent? But for most people, it isn't. Work starts and stops. Goals are picked up and dropped. Energy comes in bursts, then disappears. So what if the problem isn't effort, but timing? What if waiting to feel like doing something is the very thing preventing it from ever getting done? There's an idea that challenges this completely. What if action comes first and motivation follows? Think about the last time you didn't feel like doing something, but you forced yourself to start anyway. Did the resistance stay the same, or did it slowly fade once you got moving? If momentum can be created, not waited for, then what exactly are people waiting on? And if that's true, then here's a harder question. Is motivation actually the problem, or is it the excuse? Most people talk about discipline like it's something you either have or you don't. But what if discipline works more like a muscle than a personality trait? If you only use it occasionally, it stays weak. If you use it daily, it adapts. So the real question becomes this: are people undisciplined or just untrained? Because if discipline grows through repetition, then every time you avoid something difficult, you're not just skipping a task, you're reinforcing a pattern. And patterns eventually become identity. Now consider another angle. How much of your productivity depends on willpower alone? Because willpower sounds powerful, but it's unpredictable. It changes with mood, stress, sleep, and environment. So if willpower fluctuates, why do so many people rely on it as their main strategy? What happens when you remove friction instead? When your environment supports your actions instead of fighting them, does discipline become easier or just more consistent? If your phone is always within reach, distractions are always available, and your workspace invites avoidance, is that a discipline problem or a design problem? Now think about this. Why do small tasks feel so heavy before you start them, but manageable once you're in them? What is that initial resistance? And why does committing to just a few minutes often break it completely? If 5 minutes can change your state, then how much of procrastination is actually psychological, not practical? Another question. Why do people try to take on everything at once, only to burn out and quit? If consistency builds results, why is intensity so often mistaken for progress? Is doing more in one day actually better, or just more exhausting? And if progress is built daily, what happens when someone only shows up when they feel like it? Now let's go deeper. Why do people treat failure like a stop sign instead of information? If every mistake shows you what doesn't work, then avoiding failure doesn't protect you, it limits you. So the question becomes this: are people afraid of failure, or are they afraid of what failure says about them? And then there's purpose. Why do some people push through difficulty while others stop at the first sign of resistance? Is it discipline, or is it clarity? Because when someone knows exactly why they're doing something, the discomfort doesn't disappear, but it becomes easier to tolerate. So what happens when that why isn't clear? Does motivation drop, or was it never strong to begin with? Now here's the part most people avoid. How often do you blame your situation, your time, your energy, or your circumstances for what isn't getting done? And how much control do you actually have that you're not using? Because the moment you assign responsibility somewhere else, you lose the ability to change anything. So the question is simple. Does responsibility feel like pressure, or does it feel like control? And finally, one more question. Why do people treat rest like laziness when exhaustion is one of the biggest reasons they can't stay consistent? If you're constantly drained, distracted, and burned out, is the problem effort or sustainability? Because being busy and being effective are not the same thing. So when you step back and look at all of this together, motivation, discipline, systems, consistency, failure, purpose, responsibility, it starts to point to something deeper. Maybe success isn't about feeling ready. Maybe it's about acting anyway. And maybe the real question isn't whether you're capable, but whether you're willing to move before you feel like it. Really makes you think.